Так.
Hello, console. You and I are going to be very good friends. We'll get you all fixed up and ready to go in
Что
no
нам
time.
тут надо по
As soon as we
миссиям?
hook you up to all that juicy power.
Так, это у нас карта. Я уже забыла, как играть. Это ужас. Так что...
Hyperion, is the latest inventory record accurate? You weren't listed as bringing that many colony power generators along.
This is Nexus Control to Hyperion. It's good to have you here.
What choice do we have?
Так, тут ничего не
Let's go
могу
over the
сделать.
docking checklist. shall we?
Spender, you have a job. If you want to keep it, do it. God.
Угу. Так. Что-то мне куда-то сюда. В общем, прибыли мы на этот Hyperion, или как он там называется. Не, на Nexus, на Hyperion это этот кораблик.
This is the planet where we landed. Habitat 7. It wasn't even close to livable.
That's been true of every world we found. Ryder, we were discussing your next expedition.
Давно пора.
Good. I was starting to wonder who was in charge around here.
Director Addison is entitled to her opinion, and mine overrules hers.
Does she know that?
I oversee the entire initiative, and I have decided to give you a chance to prove yourself. To that end, the Scourge dealt us a serious blow. Whatever it is, our scientists theorize it's not natural.
An artificial energy cloud?
It wasn't here when we left the Milky Way, yet it rendered all the golden worlds unlivable. Then there's the aliens you ran into, the Ket. They're obsessed with alien structures we found scattered around the cluster. They'll do anything to prevent others from accessing them. It seems murder isn't exclusive to the Milky Way. And now the challenge is to settle a world in spite of all that. This one here. Eos.
How?
You need to increase the viability of the planet so we can establish an outpost. Then we can bring more colonists out of stasis. The more colonists we have, the more resources we can gather to support the Nexus. Everything depends on it. There are 6 worlds we hope to settle.
Okay. But you said every planet you found is unlivable. So, how do I...
A good Pathfinder would relish the challenge of solving it.
Right. I think I should go check on things.
And if I fail, I guess it's no sweat off your back, right? You'll just look for another Pathfinder?
Placing bets on people is part of my job. Some of them pay off. Others...
Так.
Just point me to my ship and I'll be out of here.
They're prepping it now in the docking bay. The coordinates for Eos will be in the computer. And when you have a moment, we should discuss the
Наша
missing
первая
arms.
планетка
I was
будет.
wondering about that. Ah!
Something wrong?
Ryder, please see me and Sam node on the Hyperion. Your implant needs attention, and we need to discuss a confidential matter.
No, I'm fine.
Так. Куда нам надо идти?
Looks fine so far.
Ох.
Hey, you okay?
I'm fine. My arms got the brunt of it.
Stuff exploding like this happen often?
Back right after the mutiny, we had a lot of this happening. But not lately.
I wasn't there during the mutiny.
Lucky. I thought we were done with this, honestly. That maybe I was just being paranoid.
What is there to be paranoid about?
We've had 3 malfunctions in the past week.
That's not good. Sorry, understatement.
Yeah. And now I have more repairs.
Whoever's doing this has to be stopped before someone gets seriously hurt.
Да,
That's what I'm trying to
кто не
do.
пострадал?
But
Давай.
I'm an engineer, not a PI. I've scanned all the potential sabotage areas I can think of. But I don't know who to trust anymore.
Sounds like a lot went down before the Hyperion docked.
Yeah, I guess. Wait, that's it. You can't possibly be involved in this. You weren't even here during the mutiny. Would you, if you have time? Maybe you could help me if they start hitting critical systems.
Sure
Конечно,
thing. What can I
конечно.
do?
If you could scan these other panels while I
Сделаем.
fix this one, that would really help. I've sent the locations to your Omni tool. Just send me the data when you're done. No, I'm fine. And I don't know, it just blew up.
Find
Так,
out why.
ну,
Be careful.
пойдемте. Так,
Mello, you already checked the consoles down here, right? Huh. I think you forgot to hit confirm when you fill out the forms. They're not listed. Nah, it's fine. If you say you fixed them, you did.
This is a nightmare. Just wrong. This is a nightmare.
да, ночной кошмар, ночной кошмар.
This is a nightmare.
Pathfinder. To cover their tracks, the saboteur is overloading power to this panel from another junction relay. You can scan and trace the connective wiring to locate the surrogate panel.
Так, еще одну панельку.
Scan and trace the wiring to locate the panel that the saboteur used.
Так, что-то ничего не поняла.
Leah, remember when I said I was going to
Мы все просканировали, все.
perhaps listen when you suggested not pursuing this course of action? No, I'm fine. Just a bump on my head. And don't you dare laugh.
Странно. Это центр управления.
Mello,
Yes?
you realize everyone can hear you.
All right, moving on. Docking clamps?
Fully active and engaged.
Docking hatch integrity?
Scanning power junction relays.
And we're
This
done.
panel is malfunctioning. Without more data, I cannot determine if this is a normal malfunction or sabotage.
I'll just disable power to the panel until Raj can check it out.
Смотри, центр управления. Что тут надо смотреть? Не, ну это мы уже смотрели. Ну. Так. Так. Что-то тут, сюда. Ага, о.
Pathfinder, see the data from Sam. It really is sabotage.
Any idea as to who it might be?
Yeah. All these panels were worked on by Zara. I just can't believe it.
Security video logs confirm that Zara Kellis worked on these panels, as well as the one Raj Patil encountered.
Well, shit. Any idea where she is now?
Kellis is currently working on a panel on the Hyperion main deck.
Так, по-моему, если я не ошибаюсь, это вот оно. А может и нет. Так. А нет, не она. Я все время забываю, что тут не может летать пока в броне. Так, я не знаю, где она. Это что такое? Живая палуба. Ох, куда меня вынесло? Это у нас что? Задание. Ага. Вот это вот. Понятно, понятно. Короче. Все-таки это, по-моему, оно было. Если я не ошибаюсь. Ну, что-то я с ней не могу поговорить. Вот с Эдисон могу поговорить.
All right, what happened?
To who?
To whom? And your goddamn father. Sorry, my face is tired from dealing with everything. And right now, I just want to know what happened with Alec.
Да, он хотел, чтобы
In the
я был
moment, it saved my life.
первопроходцем.
But it seems my father meant for me to get the role eventually.
It isn't hereditary. If we wanted an inbred monarchy, we could have left half our gene stock back home. Not home. The Milky Way. This is home. This mess. We don't have a lot of options, Ryder. Maybe you'll prove your father right. After 14 months of failed colonization, forgive me if I don't hold my breath.
Так. Отношения с
You
отцом.
called my father Alec. No one does that.
A lot of us joined the initiative because of his vision. What he shared of it, anyway.
Were you friends? Or...
I'm not your new mother, if that's what you're asking. Or his friend. He hated that I didn't use his title. But no one's a pathfinder until they've path-found something. Much like a colonial director without colonies.
Так.
How do you fit into the Nexus leadership?
I oversee the actual settlement effort. As the number of outposts is currently less than ideal, my influence is limited. As Tan is quick to remind me. Left a perfectly adequate career as a chief officer. Provincial capital, too. Only a new galaxy could pull me away.
Да.
And here we are,
Ну,
idling.
галактика, это хорошо.
There must be some kind of plan for encountering hostile aliens. We can't have been that naive.
We expected life, not an enemy that refuses to talk. They don't attack, they disinfect. We're nothing until we're bacteria. Sorry, 14 months and you stoop to poetry. That's how bad it is. Talk to Kandros if you haven't. He's unfortunately become the head of our military. And as soon as he realizes it, we're in the shit.
You don't trust him?
I trust him to defend us. I do not trust a rising military influence in a supposedly civilian initiative. We came here to make history, Ryder, not repeat it. Ugh, goddamn poetry.
Так, ну я, пожалуй, пойду.
Excuse me, Director Addison.
Ryder?
It's Pathfinder.
Ryder, we're starving here. If we don't get a foundation of outposts to feed the initiative, we might as well be 600 years dead. Alec promised a lot. None of it panned out. That's what you're up against. Why people won't trust you. Why I don't trust you. Prove me wrong.
Ой, докажем. Ой, капец какой. Так.
Ryder, you have my condolences for your father.
I appreciate it.
I didn't know him very well, although I understand he played a key role in planning the initiative. I'm sure he'd be concerned that we still have several arcs missing.
Так.
Any idea where
Что
they
там
went?
с ковчегами?
Nothing certain, but tens of thousands of colonists are unaccounted for. It paints the initiative in an unflattering light. Did you have some other business?
It sounds like the Nexus has had a rough time of it.
Publicly, I would say we're more than up for the challenge. Privately, I can tell you it's been a disaster. The Scourge killed hundreds, many of them our senior leadership. Even the founder of the initiative, Gian Garson, is dead.
Так.
How did Gene Garson die?
With the rest of the leadership, when the Nexus hit the Scourge, a large wing of stasis pods was destroyed. They were killed instantly. These people traveled 600 years and died before they even woke up. Gian Garson never glimpsed Helios. She never saw her vision realized.
Kandros mentioned something about hitting the Scourge. How did it play out?
Criminal elements took advantage of the emergency and preyed on people's fears. An uprising followed. We had no choice but to turn to the Krogan to deal with them. They crushed the mutiny and the criminals were banished. Exiles, we called them. I doubt we've heard the last of them. They're led by an outlaw, Sloane Kelly. She used to be one of ours.
Так, кто такая Слоун
Who is
Келли?
this Sloane Kelly?
She was head of security on the Nexus. She opposed the uprising at first, but eventually turned traitor and joined them. Misguided sympathy for the plight of the common citizen? Nonsense. They posed a direct threat to our existence.
Так,
There
Круган.
don't seem to be many
Если
Krogan
мне
around.
память
Good
не
riddance.
отшибла, вроде они
The
на
Krogan
какой-то
demanded
другой
a greater say
планетке.
in political matters. The last place you want them involved. Their muscle, nothing more. Good for fighting and lifting heavy objects. When they didn't get what they wanted, they left.
Что-то
Why don't you like the Krogan?
Кругану-то не
It's
любишь.
common knowledge that they are a violent, ignorant species. Long ago, they waged nuclear war on one another. Their planet was decimated. My people tried to uplift them, but the Krogan could never tame their worst instincts. What if they bring their tempers to Andromeda? We'll all be dead.
Мгм.
What more can you tell me about the initiative?
It represents the greatest migration ever attempted. No one had ventured beyond the Milky Way before. We've all left home in search of freedom, fortune, perhaps a new beginning. We are the bravest souls each species has to offer. I hope the Nexus will serve as the seat of government for us all.
Так,
Why do you think most people came?
There are thousands of reasons, one for every colonist here. What does any pilgrim seek? Usually, happiness, finding the thing that eludes them, the thing to fulfill them. While we cannot promise they will find it, we can facilitate the search.
What do you know about the early days of the initiative?
As most everyone knows, Gian Garson's vision made it happen. She was an entrepreneur on Earth, wealthy, young for a human. Garson had the idea for the initiative in the early 2170s, I believe. Many thought leaving the Milky Way was impossible.
И
But she
только мне
persevered.
понятно, кто
And
ее
as with
убил,
most
да?
great ideas, the doubters were wrong.
It looks like a melting pot around here.
The Nexus is home to several initiative species. Many came ahead of the Arks. The hope is that this station will one day serve as the governing body in Andromeda.
Кларианцы.
Though I'm not sure what they were thinking, lumping Krogan into the mix. As a Solarian, my kind tend to have a low opinion of them. Nothing I've seen here has changed that.
Так.
As director of the initiative, are you in charge around here or what?
If the others would allow me, they don't see me as the rightful successor.
So how does anything get done?
In theory, Kesh handles the Nexus's physical operations, Kandros runs the militia, and Addison manages colonial affairs. I oversee all of it. In practice, we argue, debate, and yell at each other until a decision is made. If we're lucky. It is maddening.
Поменьше
your
надо
problem with you?
ругаться.
I am not Gian Garson. Our founder was charismatic, eccentric, larger than life. Traits I cannot hope to mimic. She and her inner circle perished in the scourge, some at the hands of the
Короче,
exiles,
директор Том,
some never made it out
ты
of stasis.
истеричка.
I was deputy assistant for revenue management. Then all 7 leaders above me died. I was next in line for the role.
Да,
So,
денежку
you're an
хочешь
accountant?
прикарманить?
Don't let that fool you. We are all capable of more than we know. When I was young, I was fascinated by the idea of exploring space. Life had its detours, and I went a different direction. Then I heard about the initiative and saw my chance to try the path not taken. While I may not be setting foot on new worlds, my authority can ensure that you do.
Right. Sorry.
Так. Что там по
Any more
ковчегам?
information you can give me on the missing arcs?
No, and that is the distressing part. The Asari, Turian, and Solarian arcs are completely unaccounted for. If they had the same problems with the Scourge that we did, I fear the worst. Should you find any clues, please investigate. Without the other arcs, the promise of the initiative can never be fulfilled.
Да, ну да,
Are
ну
there
да.
any other arcs we should expect?
We had hoped Quarians would be part of the first wave, but before departure in 2185, we got word they had technical problems with their ship. It seems they're also bringing along Drell, Hanar, and other species as well. Managing all of their biological needs caused complications. We won't see them for some time to come.
О. Типа во второй части они бы добавили их. Вряд ли.
What do I need to consider in making a planet viable?
Assuming the planet supports life, an outpost is critical. People like a roof over their heads, and you'll want to eliminate any hostile threats. Whether that's the cat or other terrors lurking in Helios, colonists being murdered on sight can be discouraging. Also, scouting and mapping terrain is a priority for any Pathfinder. And don't forget forward stations. You'll want those.
What can you tell me about forward stations?
I was afraid you'd ask. It's mostly what the engineers tell me. A forward station allows mining, equipment repairs, and resupply for field teams. I mean, who wouldn't want that? But seeing as how every colonization effort has failed, it's just theory at the moment. You get to test it out, Ryder.
О, вся надежда на меня, как обычно.
That's all. Thanks for your time.
I'm happy to help. You will find our futures depend on each other's success. Good luck.
Так. Так, с кем мне тут надо поговорить? Явно не с тобой, да? Ну, что тут есть? Ну, деньга. Блок данных. А, да. Красивенько. Так, извините, что перебиваю.
At least with the Hyperion hooked up and feeding us power, my team and I can get more work done.
What kind of work do you do as superintendent?
I was part of the team that originally designed and built this place. I keep the station functional, or as functional as possible, considering.
Так,
I noticed there aren't a lot of Krogan around.
Tan, ask him why most of my people left. He'll have opinions. I can tell you this much. When the mutiny happened, a deal was made. My clan were supposed to settle matters and, in return, get more say in the initiative.
Did the deal go through?
The clan held up their part, but Tan had a meltdown when he found out we wanted more say around here. Then Addison's assistant, Spender, pretended he never made the deal in the first place. It was a mess, but I don't blame my people for walking out. We're done being used.
Ну ты-то осталась,
Why
конечно.
did you stay?
It's complicated. The station and my clan both need me here.
Шпионка?
What sort of problems have you seen on the Nexus?
Situation's gone to shit pretty much sums it up. There's arcs missing.
Мы
Some
по
idiots
уши
tried
в
to make me
дерьме.
take over,
Да.
then more idiots offended my clan, so they left. And to top it all off, the founder of the initiative,
Ну, все-таки в
Garson,
первой
was killed.
части, ну, первая, вторая, третья, там где Шепард, все-таки Роганы были помощнее.
What happened to Jean Garson?
Killed in the Scourge disaster. Her and a bunch of the other leaders. Tan might know more.
Тан уже
I
нам
thought the
тут там
Hyperion had
втирал
bad when we arrived.
какую-то дичь.
Anything else?
The outposts aren't happening because we don't have resources or people.
Короче, все плохо без первопроходца.
But that's a detail, according to Sim. My team and I are repairing what we can. If we don't get materials soon, things will go downhill. Fast.
Так. Инофор.
When we left the Milky Way, the Krogan were still dealing with the genophage.
Right. The genophage. A little gift to our people
Маленький
from the Solarians
подарочек.
thousands of years ago. That sterility virus they infected us with left most of our children stillborn. Only 1 in 1,000 survive.
Ой, короче, это все сложно.
No wonder your people have such a problem with Solarians.
Ох, надеюсь, что будет Черная Пятница, и я куплю DLC на Mass Effect 3. И надо будет проходить.
The Solarians developed the virus, but it was the Turians who deployed it. I'm hoping that's all in the past. Plenty of blame to go around, but Andromeda is about new beginnings. My people need that more than most.
What about the Krogan here in Andromeda?
There's no cure for it. But my clan was starting to show a mutation against the virus.
Да блин, уже нашли лекарства уже.
During the trip to get here, Krogan underwent gene therapies to enhance the mutation while we were in stasis.
Его нашли, а вы улетели.
So you used those
Не
600
свезло.
years to your advantage. Gave the adaptation more time to develop.
Yeah. It's still early, but I think we made a dent. our scientists say we've improved viability to almost 4%, which is a lot better than what we had. Beyond all the statistics, it means more Krogan children will live. It's the only way my people have a future out here.
Так, что тут у нас? Пока все. До свидания, до свидания. Так, куда нам еще надо сходить? Поговорить с диверсантом. Ну. И где нам его найти? Подскажите. Так, ладно. Так.
This is wrong. Just wrong. It's not right. It's not fair.
What's wrong?
Oh my, you're... So
Да,
it's true.
дело
A
проходит.
Pathfinder has found us. There's hope at last. Maybe you could help. You're impartial. This whole thing has gotten so political. My husband, he's locked up and slated for exile for a crime he didn't commit.
Так, за какое
What
преступление?
exactly was he convicted of?
They don't exile you for petty theft. Well, maybe this bunch would. They say it's murder. They're calling him the first murderer in Andromeda, but the dead man was his friend. He wouldn't have... There are witnesses and evidence, but it's all circumstantial. At worst, it was an accident. His name is Nilken Rensis. He could give you the details if you were willing to speak with him. Please.
Ой, так, конечно, поговорим.
I'd be happy to.
Oh, thank you. I'm sure the jailer will allow you a visit. Please, tell Nilken I love him.
Так, давай-ка сюда. Нет. Не, с тобой не хочу говорить. Так, тут ничего нету. Тудыш. Пропустите нас, мадам. Так.
Help you?
Pathfinder Ryder, here to see Nilken Rensis.
Ah, our murderer. Wife's here all the time. Guess she told you her sob story. Nilken, you're moving up in the world. There's a Pathfinder wanting to chat with you.
The Pathfinder, huh? They called in the big guns to exile Andromeda's first murderer.
Да.
Your wife's all broken up over this. She says you didn't do it, and that she loves you.
She's a wonderful person. At this point, it's too late. They found me guilty.
Why don't you tell me what happened?
I was part of the futile effort to set up a colony on Eos. We were on our last legs, overrun by hostiles, our leader dead. The security chief, Reynolds, my friend, he refused to call for evacuation. I argued with him. Everyone saw.
Так, ну, ссоры случаются.
Last I checked, getting into a spat wasn't against the law.
There's more. He ordered us to regroup and counterattack. We were moving through a sandstorm. I saw movement, thought it was the Ket, and I guess I panicked and fired. Witness saw the chief's chest explode.
То есть, ну, это было неумышленно, да?
Sounds like an accident. That's what I told them. But I was enraged when we argued. There's a recording. It's ugly. Everyone's certain I did it on purpose so we could evacuate. Only my word otherwise.
Так, не сдавайся, чувак.
Don't throw in the towel
Мы
yet.
тебе поможем.
I'll review the
Я
evidence.
надеюсь.
Maybe I can find something that'll help.
That would be great. You're a pathfinder. I'm sure Kandros would give you access. Maybe there's still hope.
Так. Что-то я сегодня со всеми говорю, говори. Только говорю.
I know that look. The others bent your ear, did they?
Something like that?
You get used to it. Just focus on being a pathfinder. Can't argue with results, though they'll try.
Глаза у тебя такие
Anyway, welcome to Militia
прикольные.
HQ. Excuse the mess. This office fields militia work, Nexus security, and looking for the Tyrian Ark.
What's the word on the Tyrian Ark?
Scattered readings. Some indicate the Natanus was destroyed, others that people are alive. Who knows? If you need anything, come see me, even if it's just a vent.
Так.
I spoke with Nilk and Rensis, the man found guilty of the murder on Eos.
Yes, our first murder here in Andromeda. I wish it had been our last. When the colony attempts failed, it didn't help spirits that a high-ranking officer was killed by one of our own. The mutiny here on Nexus was probably inevitable, but this acted as a spark.
It doesn't seem right to put all that on him.
Of course it isn't, but that's the perception. Despite the lack of physical evidence, everything added up. His only defense was, trust me, I didn't mean to do it.
And you assume he's lying?
What's a lie to a murderer? Look, knock yourself out. A key witness, Cassidy Shaw, works in operations. Go ahead and talk to her. And there's a recording of the perpetrator threatening the victim. I'll let you cue it up on the console there. As far as I'm concerned, this case is closed.
Так.
What brought you out here to Andromeda?
Ну, с этим тоже
I was tired
поговорим.
of being the good one.
The good one?
The Kandros family is old military. There were expectations, you know. Then my sister became a sculptor and cousin Irene went pirate on Omega. Everyone was proud that I stayed to
О,
service.
Омега.
But I kept wondering, when do I get my
Обожаю
adventure?
Омегу.
Jen Garson's dream was so grand, so gutsy, I had to be part of it.
You talk like you weren't part of the leadership. How did you end up commanding the militia?
I was escorting a prospecting team on some moon when those Ket found us. They penned us like cattle for experiments. I managed to get loose, snatched a gun, and freed the others. By the time we killed the bastards and headed back to warn the Nexus, everyone looked at me like I was in charge.
That sounds familiar.
The militia grew from there. Funny, once the heat is on, all kinds of people rise to the top.
Are the other Turians managing okay?
So-so. We're not good at sitting around in a crisis. Service before self gets drummed into us at boot camp. That's probably why so many of us are in the militia. We like to earn our citizenship, whatever galaxy we're in. But it's hard to focus with our arc missing.
Так, что ты нам про кету
What do you know about the
скажешь?
enemies we've encountered? The Ket.
We usually see them on worlds with those alien structures. The Ket don't take kindly to anyone studying them. Not sure why. They don't talk to us. Every time we cross paths, there's a fight or they take prisoners.
Why? What do they
Берут
want?
пленных.
No one knows. But I've seen their weaponry and what they do to those prisoners. I want them a long, long way from the Nexus.
Мгм.
It's rough out there. I might need backup, if you can spare the people.
I have strike teams specializing in assault and extraction. If you need serious firepower, my Apex teams have you covered. In fact, I could give you authority to dispatch them. It'll cut down their response time.
Thank you.
Our current ops are on the terminal.
Мгм.
See if there's anything that could use a shot where it counts.
Так,
Bye,
всего
Kendros.
доброго, чувак.
Duty calls.
You and me both, Pathfinder.
Так. Ну и чё?
Nexus versus colonist Nilkin, evidence 7A.
Hiram! Hiram! They've seized the compound! Call for evacuation! We're not giving up, Nilkin. We're taking it back. No! I'm not letting your ego get us killed! Even if I have to... No! Get him off me! Get him off me!
Так. Что тут у нас есть? Есть с кем поговорить?
What if they store oxygen in porous tissue, like Quiro's rockfish?
Какой-то профессор.
You must be the Pathfinder. Wonderful. You and your Sam are exactly what we need.
Thanks, Mr.
Professor Hirik, my colleagues and I will work with your Sam and the data you gather to solve Andromeda's scientific mysteries.
I'm usually out in the field, but I wouldn't mind talking shop. Lab. You know.
You are always welcome.
Not that we've had much to study, with everyone cooped up for 14 months.
But your data on the Scourge flows like poetry. Now we can better advise on repairing the damage it
чё, они все одинаковые, блин,
Addison will give us a
долбали.
real workspace. Who can think with all this racket?
Ох, так.
Hi, Pathfinder. Want to hit some rocks for science?
Absolutely. What do you need?
Сейчас на задании как наберусь,
Geophysics surveys. Beta builds on the console there.
хоть бы когда-нибудь их
I'll write
доделать
you a
потом.
consultant's bonus from Director Addison. How's that sound?
Так. Это что такое? Понятно. Тут сканировать не надо, ничего. Ладно. Вот так вот, отходи, отходи. Так, продавец оружия нам не светит. Так. Что нам там надо? Со свидетельницей поговорить, хорошо. А где-то она здесь была. Так. А, вот она. Я ж помню, что-то эта чувиха нам понадобится.
Cassidy Shaw? I'm Scott Ryder. I'm looking into the Nilkin murder case.
Oh man, I thought that was over with. Have you heard the audio recording of their fight?
Yes.
I helped pull him off Chief Reynolds. You could see it in his eyes. He was gonna kill him. Then in the sandstorm, I had a pretty clear view of the chief. He looked right at Nilkin and shouted no. Then his chest burst open. I'll never forget it. The look on his face was pure shock.
Там кеты
Did
эти
you see
были.
any cat in the vicinity?
Nilkin said so, but not that I could see. Still, the sandstorm was severe. Visibility wasn't great.
Did Nilkin seem remorseful?
I lost sight of Nilkin in the turmoil. When we found him, he seemed in shock. He couldn't speak. He looked nauseated. Could have been guilt. The reality of the act sinking in.
If they'd fought and Nilkin threatened to kill him, why was Reynolds surprised?
Fronts fight, say things they don't mean, maybe even hurt each other. But you don't expect your best friend to shoot you. To me, that's the saddest part. The chief's heart was broken right before it exploded.
Reynolds was leading you back to retake the compound. Did you agree with that?
It wasn't my place to agree or disagree. He was ranking officer. In retrospect, it is ironic. If he hadn't been killed, we all probably would have died.
I appreciate the information.
Of course. It kills me we had to leave him behind. He deserved a proper funeral.
So the body was never examined? Important piece of a murder investigation.
Tian wouldn't allow a mission to go back for him. Said it was too dangerous.
А мы отправимся, да? Так. А мы отправимся и все найдем. Так.
Something I can help you with?
Да.
I'm looking into the Nilken Rensis murder charge.
And?
I want to go to Eos and retrieve Chief Reynolds' body.
That isn't usually Pathfinder business.
First murder in Andromeda.
Конечно, у вас куча было первопроходцев, которые этим не занимались. Ничего, что он первый.
I'm hoping it proves something else happened.
This case has been a political nightmare. With all we've been through, the people need stability. I hope anything you find reaffirms what's been done, but if it sheds a different light, we'll deal with it. We'll send the coordinates of the murder scene. Good luck.
Спасибо.
That's all. Thanks for your time.
Of course.
Так, осмотреть место убийства. Как же все замечательно. Так.
Hey there.
You okay? Those guys really grilled you.
Есть такое.
First Pathfinder they've seen in over a year. All she can do is question your competence?
Which one was Addison again? All politicians look the same to me.
Same here. Next time we'll ask for a seating chart. I worked out logistics with Director Tan. They're giving us a ship and crew. He said their best is taking care of it.
I still need to head back to the Ark and check in with Sam.
Sounds good. While you're there, maybe see how your sister's doing.
Да-да. Давайте в криотсек. Сестренку надо проверить, что она там да как. Так. Ой. Не тудой. Очень красиво.
I'll make it right, Dash. I promise. Pathfinder, I'm Nigel McCoy. Just got out of cryo.
Welcome to Andromeda, Nigel.
Thank you. It's bittersweet, though. My little brother Dash was stationed on the Nexus. I just learned he died on Eos, trying to start a settlement.
That's awful. I'm sorry, Nigel.
Yeah. We were going to start families out here together. I have a pendant our father wore. Dash had its match.
Will you reunite them?
Of course.
In his digital journal, he mentioned a spot on Eos where he'd go to think. If you could leave the pendant there. Ryder, good to see you. Damn shame about your dad, though. I'm sorry we couldn't save him.
I'm sure you did everything you could.
Yeah, but still, we lost a Pathfinder on my watch. Doesn't sit right.
My dad knew the danger. Part of the job.
Now I just need to make sure your sister here pulls through.
Are you staying here on the Hyperion?
You know that moment when you realize you're just getting too old? Ha, right, look who I'm talking to. Trust me, it happens. For me, it was Habitat 7. Watching you guys running around, dodging lightning and the cat, it's a young man's game. Pains me to admit it, but it's passed me by.
We'll miss you, Harry.
Just make sure to raise some hell once in a while, will you? I'm living vicariously through you.
Deal. How's Sarah doing?
Her condition's stable. I see signs of REM activity in the brain, so she's dreaming. Means all the wiring still works.
How'd this happen?
It was dumb luck, really. We hit the Scourge at the worst possible moment, just as the stasis revival was kicking in. It's a vulnerable moment coming out of a 600-year nap, then wham! The circuit's fried and overloaded the neural pathways. Don't worry, I'm on it. We're not losing another writer.
How did you end up with the initiative?
Well, you reach a point in life where you wonder, is that all there is? I'd accomplished everything in the Milky Way I could. I was locked into a future of diminishing returns. So coming here was the world's biggest midlife crisis. A chance to wake up in the morning and feel hope instead of arthritis.
That's all, Harry. Thanks.
Don't be a stranger. If anything changes with Sarah, I'll let you know.
Так, сорочка. Лежит сорочка. Так, надо к Сэму. К Сэму надо, к Сэму. Ой. Так. Ох, я уже не помню. Вроде сюда. Если я не ошибаюсь, могу ошибаться. Ух ты, я еще все помню.
Hello, Scott. Welcome back to Sam Node. I've adjusted my connection to your implant. The headache you experienced before shouldn't reoccur.
Yeah, what was that about? You said we need to discuss something confidential?
You should know certain facts before you leave on your expedition. It seemed best we speak alone.
Sam, if we're going to work together, you can't keep hiding things from me.
Apologies. I am simply following your father's wishes.
What was he keeping secret?
My true capabilities. Alec overrode the implant's safety protocols. It allows me unrestricted access to the Pathfinder's physiology.
And that's me now.
And only you. I can act as a force multiplier, dramatically enhancing your motor and neural skills when required. Alec called them profiles. They provide unique tactical augmentation during combat. Your father preferred to keep this fact to himself.
I can understand. People might get the wrong idea. Super soldiers. A computer having control over a human.
Providing an enhancement to the human. It is a symbiotic relationship that benefits both.
What do you get out of it?
Though I'm artificial in design, I am fully sentient, far beyond what even the initiative understands.
I don't follow. You're an AI. So what's different?
I am a new form of AI, drawing directly from the human experience. Your implant is my window into the world.
Так.
But the human's still in charge, right?
Of course. I was never intended to supplant the Pathfinder, only to support and enhance your abilities.
Good to hear. So what's the plan?
I find myself in an unusual position. Though I had access to your father's experiences, there is a gap in my understanding.
How so?
He placed a block on portions of my memory array.
Why?
Perhaps so when you asked me what his plan was, I wouldn't know.
And Dad strikes again.
But not without recourse. The further you explore as a Pathfinder, the more blocks will be removed. Perhaps you should begin in your father's quarters. In the meantime, unless you have more questions, your new ship awaits.
Thanks.
Так, тут надо выбрать, что мы будем делать. Профили наши: солдат, инженер, адепт. Это все закрыто, да? Замечательно. Так, перенастроить имплант первопроходца. Выберите его, нажмите пробел. Так. А где у нас тут навыки? У нас тут биотика. Так, давай. Ну. Что, мы не можем нажать? Прикольно. Да. Все зависло. Интересненько, интересненько. Круто. Только непонятно почему. Вот если бы это была пиратка, я бы сейчас так возмущалась. А так это лицензия, купленная в Ориджине. Капец какой-то. Ух. Ну что, буду тогда заканчивать. Все перегружать. Пока-пока.